Good morning. Good morning, vinyl champions and everyone else. So I'm gonna get over to YouTube and make sure the pop out chat is up. Okay, I got YouTube muted, so here I am. Hey, Thursday, happy Thursday, everyone. Even though I put it in the text for the title, I had to think about which day it is. So yeah, it is happy Thursday. I trust everyone is doing well. Cheers. Wow, what a beautiful day it's going to be. It was a little chilly outside this morning. I mean, when you're used to 90 degrees, 72 sounds wonderful. Feels cool. Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. I'm going to start out today with some music I really like a lot. Roxy music. I love me some Roxy music, and this is Avalon, one of their very popular records, and it's on a lot of people's list of really cool records to own. Hey, good morning, Stephen. How are you? Cheers. Stephen did a YouTube record auction last night, and I went there and I picked up 3 records. Yeah, I think I picked up 3 records, so that was exciting, folks. So, hey, next time, Stephen, why don't you put a link to your channel in the chat, and that way people can sub to you, and when you go live, they can get the notification for your next sale. So yeah, that's cool. Maybe Steve, you'd like to join me sometime, and we can tag team a sale. Yeah. Brian Ferry was part of this group, Roxy Music. Brian Eno was part of the group also, but he wasn't there for the entire thing. Brian Ferry was the primary songwriting for this particular group. So that was really cool. Hey, good morning, Carson. Cheers. Carson, I trust you're doing well this morning. Yeah, 3 records, yeah. So yeah. Okay, folks. I always say grab some coffee, grab some vinyl. Let's discuss. So what are we discussing with you? And Carson, I'm gonna do you. What's your favorite Roxy Music record? And there's times that I listen to Roxy and I listen to Brian Ferry and here's some Eno. And there's times that I listen to Eno and I hear Roxy and I hear Ferry, and which is wonderful. I adore it all. And I know that vinyl champion Amber and I were discussing that she has an introduction to Roxy music, and I was sharing with her Brian Ferry, and to be on the lookout for that. I pulled some little corners here, tucked here and there, trying to get as many records as I possibly can to make it happen. I ran across this, but it's missing the record, the Modern Jazz Quartet, Blues on Bach. I love Modern Jazz Quartet. This one is a quadraphonic. I got the inner sleeve right here, which is wonderful. You get to read all about the quadraphonic sound. So, but I don't have the disc. So hopefully I'll be able to find the disc sometime or another. Yeah. But just to keep everything together and protected, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a bag. Yeah. Oops. There's a lot of stuff I haven't listened to, and this is one of them. And Jonathan Segal, and storytelling. So I can't really chime in about it because I'm not as familiar with it. So, but it looked interesting enough that I needed to put it to the side and check it out. Also, when I do a buyback, I might find extra things. Like here's a really nice inner sleeve for Motown. So if I happen to get a Motown record that doesn't have the proper inner sleeve, I can pop it in there. Ended up with this loose disco and soul dancers little insert, little booklet that came with the record. Oh yeah, Roxy's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have the record and I have the correct booklet, but just so happened to find an extra one in a buyback one day, and so here we are. And this disco and soul dances. Now this was released as an educational thing. I don't know if maybe they got a grant or something because they were education or something like that. But there was a dance called the hustle. This teaches you how to do the hustle. And there was a dance called bus stop. It teaches you how to bus stop or do the bus stop or yeah. There's a song, do the hustle. I don't remember the tune right now, but yeah, it's really neat. There's a K-Tel record that's all about breakdancing, and it came with a poster, how to breakdance, and so it's always a good poster to have around, folks. And I had it on the wall for a while, but I took it down. Yeah. What have you guys been listening to? Let's talk records. Another record I haven't played, which is good that I'm pulling stuff out. Yahoo Review. Looks like I'm sure everybody has a little river or something in their ear, but this reminds me so much of the River. It could very well be, but this is a local band. Don Dixon recorded it, produced by Ron Abernathy, recorded at Reflection Sound Studio, and I think Reflection was in Charlotte. And I've gotten it. I put it to the side, and I've never done any research. I haven't even cleaned it, folks, and sleeved it. So I probably saved it so that Ron could sign it next time he comes in. Hope to see Ron again. Absolutely, I do. Hope he's doing well. Ron's a talented Rod, is a talented musician, and I've gotten some really cool records from Rod, and he's been part of some cool things there. Hey, good morning, Hot Mess. How are you? Cheers, Hot Mess. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I trust you're doing well. I probably should slow down a little bit. I want to hear about what you guys want to talk about. Talk to me about some records. Carson, I saw your video. What were you playing? Oh gosh, egg on the face. What were you playing, Carson? Tell me. This is a band called. This is a guy named Bo Hansen. It's called Magician's Hat. On the same label is Genesis. Yeah, so that's what it is. So yeah, very cool. And again, I haven't played it. I've been very guilty. Yeah, sorry, I'm replying late, but my favorite Roxy is Avalon. Ah, Stranded is your favorite. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome, Carson. I'm glad you discovered it, Roxy, which is great. Yeah. So, if they were on the same label as Genesis, they had to be somewhat important. I'll check it out. Yeah, I have to check it out. But do you guys have records that you've purchased you haven't played yet? Hello, Amy. I'll be glad to. Will I remember it? Oh my gosh. I was watching a live the other day and this person had a list and she was looking at the YouTube channel name and then she says, "Oh, you're Adam." And I was like, "Yeah. Hey, good morning, Philip. Cheers. Good morning, Phil. Cheers." Phil's on the Facebook side of things. Phil, I hope you and yours are doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Looking for clues. I'm just looking for clues at the scene of the crime. Life's been good to me so far. Bo Hansen plays a whole bunch of stuff. Looking for other names which I don't recognize, but it's definitely a European band based on some of the players' names. Yeah, which is cool. It was, but I'm not. I'm sorry, right here. It was, but I'm not here to. I don't want to embarrass her, but it was cool. I Good question, Phil. I got to review my order that I placed back in December or something, and my distributor sent me an email with my order with some deletions. You know, they were removed, and then I have to get an updated order in by July 8th, which is fine. However, like I told someone else, if I have 2 records, if I have 20 records, if I have 200 records, it's going to be a wonderful record store day drop. But yeah. As far as how I would deal with it, I would just ask people if they come to respect social distancing outside the building, and I will allow one person in at a time, and probably limit the time so we can get as many people in here as possible. And I don't anticipate having very much product, Phil, just because the pandemic and the economy and sales are down so much, and all the money that I'm getting in, I'm trying to cover expenses, and so just don't have any capital for Record Store Day. And when the pandemic hit, it didn't take long for that capital to go away, you know, to cover expenses when I was closed. And so there we go. So, but if I have 2, if I have 20, if I have 200, it's going to be a wonderful Record Store Day. Mike, I did invoice you. Yeah, absolutely. You're on the Facebook side of things. Yeah, yeah. I did invoice you. Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. How are you doing? I trust you're doing well. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Sometimes we make decisions. Sometimes we're not sure if the decisions are good, but sometimes we make a decision, and it's better than not being decisive. Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can definitely take a look at it, Mike, and see what happened. And, or, yeah. And in the meantime, we can reach out after the stream is over. But, Mike, um, I'm sure you have, but I always look in my box. Yeah. I always look in my junk box, that's for sure. Oh, of course. Of course. Hey, decisions. Get my senator on the phone. I'll straighten them out. Deletions. Oh, I'm sorry. Deletions. Sorry. There we go. Deletions. Yeah. It's just that, Record Store Day was announced months ago, and it was scheduled for April. Then it got scheduled for June, and then now it's scheduled for 3 days. Record Store Day drops. It's going to be 3 awesome Record Store Day drops. Yeah, absolutely. And so some of the artists decided, or the labels, sometimes the artists don't have a say, but sometimes they do. But anyway, it was decided that some of the albums were going to be issued um, outside of Record Store Day. Fish comes to mind, and Neil Young comes to mind. So there was others also, but two of the bigger ones were Fish and Neil Young. And Neil Young had a wonderful, wonderful issue release a couple of Fridays ago, and it was popular. It was so popular that not only all the distributors sold out, but the label was out, and most every store's out. I sold out quickly, and even sold some online on the website. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. Most likely a private press, but it's Live at the Bowery. It's autographed. And the group is called Slew, S-L-E-W, Slewfoot. I'm not familiar with them, but the Bowery was in New York City, as I understand. I also understand that the CBGB was at the Bowery, but I'm looking at the back of this and it says recorded live at the Bowery, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So this might be more of a local. It says right to Slewfoot, Anderson, South Carolina. Maybe we should write to him. But anyway, I don't recognize any of the players, but it might be worth a spin. They went and recorded their own recorded their music and released it on vinyl. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signatures. So we'll see how that is if I can listen to it. Yes. Oh, I forgot to say, Mike. Cheers. So Mike Hubert, nice guy, Mick. Yeah. What are you doing on Facebook side of things anyway? Which is totally cool. Just wondering. Hey, is that your new setup? Is that the new setup we're going to see? Yeah. Hey, good morning, Adam. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Cheers. Have you heard of Chris Squire's Fish Out of Water? I have. Absolutely. Is that something you're enjoying, Carson? There's a lot of solo stuff out there. So Yeah, good for you. Checking it out. It's always neat to discover new things. That's for sure. This was interesting. It's only a budget label. The Jazz Giants Reads, Volume 2, 1955. It's a compilation. Coleman Hawkins is on here, Ben Webster, Lester Young. And so it's funny because the cover shows Volume 3, but this is Volume 2. And so it's just a reissue of an old record from days gone by. It's on the Trip label, TRAP. And I got it, threw it on a shelf, never cleaned it. I miss Ann. She would clean like crazy. So it's on the Trip label. Doesn't mean it sounds horrible, but it's just a budget label. And so I need to clean this, put on the VPI, then bag it and play it. I bet it's wonderful. I bet it's wonderful. Absolutely. Carson says it's a great album. Yeah. Yeah, it's Rolling Stones. That's what it was. Yeah. Carson, care to discuss any of those records you were playing? Yeah. We all like getting records in the shrink. We really do. However, the shrink is torn here, and over the years, dust got in here, and it just doesn't look very clean. So comes a time when shrink has to come off, folks. So I'm not going to do it now, but I will eventually take the shrink off and put this record in a bag. But anyway, it's on the Chess label. I'll show you the label in a moment. Chess. But it's Mom's Mabel and Pigmeat Martin. Oh, that's so sad. Oh. Yeah. I'm trying to avoid any CV discussion, Adam, but it's really sad. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I try my best not to play music on my channel, Carson. I just don't. I can't afford. It takes a long time to build a channel anyway, and I feel like I've only just begun, but I want to be. Yeah, I just want to be there. I just want to be here. And even though I might not have a lot of people come into my lives, it really makes a difference for me, Carson. The money that happens there. Yeah. Good morning, Stephen. Stephen Schnee, SS. Check. Cheers to you. I have not, Stephen. Today's the day. What happens is that I'm alternating between the stores, and so today's Raleigh, tomorrow's Wake Forest, and things like that. So, but today's the Raleigh day, so today's a good day to call him, since he may come and pick up cash, or he may come and pick up records and take them out of here. Either way, I'm okay. But I thought about it. Let's see. Imagine how this call is going to be. So yeah. So that's very cool. So I have not. Here's a label for the chess record. Boy, it's filthy too. It needs a cleaning on the VPI. It's a later chess label. Pigmeat Markham does 2 songs on one side, and Side one is excerpts from the best of the various Mabel's albums. Mabel did comedy, so most likely it's a bunch of narratives, storytelling. And it looks a little rough, but it has shrink, so even though I want to lose the shrink, but it still might end up being in the dollar bin, but I'll play it and see how it sounds. I haven't been so motivated in watching records and playing records and put them out there for sale. But hey, this might be the motivation. I mean, especially since I have so many so many projects going on, listing this, listing that. And folks, I've been listing CDs like crazy on eBay. I have a record from '62 that has shrink. It's looking pretty good, but very crinkly and tightened. Yeah. Yeah. You know, when that happens, Carson, older records, I like to bag them just because they I don't want to damage the jacket when I put records in and out of it. And so, yeah, that's what I do. So you ever felt like you were late for the party and you missed all the cool things, and then you pull up and people are leaving? Well, that's definitely happened to me before. But so when you think about being late for the party, well, hey, good morning, Ron. Cheers, Ron. Ron's on the Facebook side of things. I was definitely late for the party. We had a landslide? Wow. Come on, 2020, throw some more stuff. I was late for the party with a band called Killing Joke. But I was somewhere and somebody was playing a record and it said, dun, 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 dun. And I was like, wait a minute. It can't be Nirvana. And it was Killing Joke, and it was Living in the 80s. 80s. I'm living in the 80s. And I was just like, who is this band? And I learned that it was Killing Joke, and I was like, whoa, where have I been? Good morning, Kurt. Cheers. Kurt, I trust you're doing well. And so, well, I discovered Killing Joke, and I'd heard the song 80s, Living in the 80s. I've heard that many years, but I never knew who the artist was or anything like that. So it's kind of neat. So I'll never forget it. Like maybe 3 Thanksgivings ago, a lady called up and says, you know, we're cleaning up and we got a whole bunch of stuff and we got a bunch of records. And she started calling out the records, and I was like, okay. And it was Thanksgiving Day, and it was the day before Record Store Day, Black Friday. And she says, well, I know it's Thanksgiving, but if you're free, we can meet today. And I said, yes. And so I got in the automobile and I met her at RecordKrate and her husband, and I bought every record they had, and they just told wonderful stories. But there was about 6 or 7 Killing Jokes, and this is one of them, and I just put them all away. But this is a EP, My Love of This Land, Darkness Before Dawn, Follow the Leaders, and Suck. And so it was a single essentially, but it had some extra tracks, a live track and a dub track. So this is really neat. And so Killing Joke, folks, if you haven't heard of them, those first 2 Killing Jokes are the best. Oh my gosh. And then I learned that there was a TV show. Well, we're all familiar. Well, we may not all be familiar with, but there was a TV show called That 70s Show, which I love. The first season of that 70s show is just so good. It's so funny, and everything is exemplified and amplified, which is wonderful. But and then I learned that there was another TV show called That 80s Show, and I don't know. 8, 10, 12 episodes, one season, never renewed, nothing really happened. And I watched it. I found it on YouTube, and they used the song from Killing Joke as the opening, and which was grand. And yeah, but the show was kind of cool. It took place in a record shop, and so I watched them all. I think if it had the same production value as that '70s show, it could have been more of a success. Yeah, but anyway, thanks for that, folks. I love that '70s show. The first season is just incredible, and yeah, it's just so funny. Here's another Killing Joke. Um, Obviously, it came from a radio station, but it's Killing Joke '80s Side B #2, and so it's Sanity, and on side 2 is '80s, which anyway, I would think that they got it backwards, but anyway, it's cool that they threw '80s on here. Yay! So one of those bands I was late for the party on, but hey, I'm at the party now and I'm enjoying it, and so that might be a good title for a video. Late for the party. Hold on a second. I want to make a note of that, folks. I've been making a list of subjects late for the party because I want to do another contest, but I'm waiting till I get 500 and celebrate 500. And I know that if I were to do a contest now, that I would gain a few subscribers just because of that. So anyway, favorite Rush album? I know you like the synth stuff best, but which is your favorite? That's a good question. I would have to research it, Carson, but it's one that has suburbans in the shopping malls, in the concert halls. That one, I like that one a lot. It makes me feel like I'm living in Canada. Sanity, Adorations, and Love Like Blood are my favorite Killing Joke songs. Oh, cool. I gotta dive into them more, Stephen, and listen more of their stuff. But I think it was. So what happened with my eye illness is a lot of stuff came in and got put away in corners, and so I'm pulling it out now. Just like pull those boxes out of incredible CDs, folks. I had no idea I'd forgotten about them, and they never opened. That I emptied from that store. So 3 years later, I find them, which is great. Yeah, and I'm putting them up on eBay as quick as I can, folks. Some good stuff. Good stuff. Subdivisions. Signals. I love Signals, Carson. Yeah. We could talk about that record one day. And Carson, when you come on, I can't wait to see what records you choose so we can talk about. Absolutely. Yeah. In the shopping malls. And I was listening to I love analog synthesizer. I love the way that artists would grab this analog synthesizer, and it essentially made a lot of beep, bop, bop, bop. and they figured out how to take those synthesizers and make it work for their music, and it's awesome because we were used to piano and organ being very melodic, and the voicing is much different than analog synthesizer. And of course, in the 80s we got into more presets and programming where we're going to make it sound like a brass horn or something like that. But, there was a time that it was all about beeps and blops and bleeps and zips and stuff like that. Yeah. Killing Joke was opening for the Hollywood Vampires in 2021. I've seen the Hollywood Vampires online. I listen to their music. Hey, it's great. I think I would go for the Killing Joke. Yeah. I love that record. Yeah. And then, of course, in the same pile that I pulled from this morning is another Killing Joke record, and the couple basically told me that they I'm sorry, this is not Killing Joke. They told me that they basically would pick up the stuff. I think they went to school in Boston, but anyway, haven't researched this. It's kind of like it's in a black generic sleeve, and it originally sold for $11.99. But and the reason I put this to the side, it's a 12-inch single, and it's credited with BWEIR. B Weir. Could it have Weir? Anyway, Outside Recordings presents the Schaefer Commission. So could it be Bob Weir? Could it be jam? Could it be hip hop that just happens to have a B Weir name? And so, sure, I could have looked it up a long time ago, but there's just something exciting about cleaning it and putting it on the table and listening to it for the first time. So there you go. Yeah. Kurt, I tell you, in the last few weeks, I've certainly learned that there's a lot of music that we share that we both like. So that's entirely awesome. So this needs a bath, new inner sleeve, and put it in a bag. I'll keep the and I'll try to get these old stickers off. I spent yesterday afternoon getting stickers off CDs, the Digipacks, where they would, the old store Edward McKay, they would have a price sticker that was like, I don't know, 2.5 inches wide, 1.5 inches tall. I think it's so uncalled for, but they would not only have the barcode, but they had some other codes, and then they would put the genre. So that's been interesting. Let's see. Carson says, I think sometimes limitations is better for creativity. Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that. They could have used Sgt. Pepper, and look what they did. Yeah. The Mellotron on Sgt. Pepper is just amazing. Now, the artist can do or use most anything, but most new music is. Well, there's a. So probably in the 80s, I was just as blinded as anyone is today. However, with that said, I think I discovered a lot of really good music through MTV and through radio, and then through the record stores, because in the 80s, the record stores were, it's like there was budgets galore, and you could go in there and you could, they had 10, 20, 30 copies of one record, and, and if it didn't sell, they just send it back. That doesn't happen today. If I buy 20 copies and it doesn't sell, I have 20 copies of the same record. But I can buy 20 copies of the New Neil Young, and it will sell, in addition to selling on the website too, which is another story in and of itself, how that happens. But I don't know. It just seems like the music community was similar but yet different in the 80s. I could think of ways to describe it, folks, but it just seems like we were more hungry for music, and the industry was feeding us music, and the bands were providing the music, and it was a decade later from the 70s, and sure, we had the new wave that was starting in the new wave and punk, which started in New York City, as well as the UK, and yeah, it was just interesting. So anyway, with that said, Carson, there's lots of good music out there now. I mean, lots and lots and lots. Sub Pop sent me a package yesterday, and I'm looking forward to listening to a bunch of CDs that they sent to me. Sure, I could go online and I can stream them. I can stream them here in the shop, but if I don't have a piece of physical media sitting on the easel now playing, and I don't want to encourage my customers to go to online streaming and listen to music rather than buy a physical copy, and support the artist. Yeah, support me too. Anyway, yeah, let's take a look at this. The Schaefer Commission was definitely not Bob Weir. Ooh, okay, thanks. Now I know. Dollar bin. Well, I have people come in looking for techno, maybe $2 bin. I like Dream Theater and Nightwish and Greta Van Fleet, but don't like the new. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Weeks before the Greta Van Fleet was released, I was able to listen to it, and I was like, "Whoa, this is exciting. This is refreshing." That someone is playing music that they adore and creating music that they adore, and they're not doing it under the mockery of a tribute band, and and they combined a lot of their music influence and a lot of the music that they like, and a lot of sounds, and they just definitely made it happen. And so, hey, I applaud them like crazy. Absolutely. Hey, good morning, G. Good morning, G. Cheers. Oh yeah, I will do that. I I I think I put on a mix on YouTube and and just listen to him for hours. And so I'll take an image so I can refer back to that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hi, GL. Well, that's a good way of saying it. Cheers. There you go. Um, Yacht Rock, wonderful Yacht Rock record. Pablo Cruz, Sail Away. We found some variations in the cover. I saved this one because compliments of WQDR. We had a radio station, folks, and that's where I first heard the Police. I remember, I can almost remember the first time I heard the Police. It's just like, and I pause and I listen, and my mind was processing. Do you like? Do you dislike? And then when they got to a little break, and it came back in with a drum lead, and I was like, yeah, I like these cats, and then wanting to know more and more about the Police, and well, Kitty Art was the AOR station. I think I mentioned them before. They were like, "You're listening to Sunday Nights with Gel on WQDR," and now we're going to play a perfect album. And it was just like that all the time. But they started broadcasting things like Rock Over London, which was a wonderful syndicated radio program, and I learned about bands like The Clash and oh gosh, just learned so much about everything. And they were the ones who brought us new wave. So they brought new wave into the triangle, which was wonderful. And I'm like, maybe they were noticing how music was shifting rather than go into the hair metal. They chose new wave. So I respect them for that. They were awesome. They helped introduce me to a lot of things, and yeah, absolutely. And so had to save this, folks. Compliments of WQDR. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. I wish I had 50 rooms, like 4x8 that I could dedicate one room to Pink Floyd and one room to this and one room to radio. And it's just awesome. I need a government funded grant, and I can open up a museum and hire people and help me curate it, and big dreams, big dreams. One station around here has a segment called Yacht Rock. Yeah, yeah. And I enjoy listening to Yacht Rock, and I've listened to Yacht Rock for years, and never knew it was a Yacht Rock station. Um, kind of north of Wake Forest, we have a town called Youngsville, and they have a little bar. It's a house that was gutted, basically, and opened up, and they have a nice back area with seating and a stage, but it's called the Yacht Club, and they serve beer beer and music, and they pride themselves with playing some yacht rock. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, but Carson, there's tons. I'm discovering tons and tons of good music that's new. I mean, I can't keep up with it. I can't listen to it all, and because I enjoy new wave from the 80s. We have a college radio station, and there's a lot of groups now that have a sound that honors the 80s new wave sound. So that's really cool. We have a radio station called Kicks, WKIC, and they play a lot of rock style music, yacht rock style. Absolutely, yacht rock was huge here, and I think it was also huge in California, but I'm sure it was huge all over the world. Yeah, absolutely. I only have just a few more records to show folks, and I'm going to stick with the 60-minute thingy. Seven Deadly Sins. I've not listened to this record. It's in the pile to listen to. Anybody that has a beard and wears makeup like that, I got to see what they sound like. Absolutely. But know very little about this. AVI Records Distribution Corporation, Los Angeles, California. Don't know any of the names on the credits. But another thing that caught me, it says synthesizer programming by W. Michael Lewis. And I'm like, ooh, they got synths in here. Let's see how they use them. Yeah. You're totally cool. Sorry for my English. I live here, and I'm horrible with English. So hey, please feel free to be comfortable. Yesterday I compared the stereo mono reissues. Have you heard them, Adam? Now, are you referring to the Rolling Stones? Yeah. Carson, I own a copy of Her Majesty's Secret Service, Her Majesty's Satanic Service. I own a mono copy. It's probably VG, and I'm always looking at a better copy. Sure, I can go online and just get it, but yeah. If that's your deal, Adam, new wave, you could get lost in my collection. I bet so, man. I bet so. Kurt, I would be honored to have you. I would be honored to have you join me as a guest. And folks, I'm always looking for people just to hang out with me and talk during vinyl and coffee and vinyl. I mean, and then of course feature people. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Ho, 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 ho. It's actually quite sought after. Well, darn, I knew I pulled it for a reason. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you have a copy of it, Kurt? I think I might have 2 or 3 copies packed away. That's what's going on, folks. I'm going through stuff that's tucked away because when something came in, I was like, "Ooh, I like that. I might want to keep it." And then I'm finding that I have extra copies of Roxy and Brian Ferry, and I'm not even going to talk about how many copies of The Dark Side of the Moon I have, but I slowly going to be able to. And plus, I'm trying to go through everything because when I have the Beatles auction on YouTube, yeah, absolutely. No, but it's 70s disco, which is finding a comeback. Really? Okay. 70s disco. All right, I'm okay with 70s disco. I love it, folks. I don't have a problem with disco. To me, it's just another extension of soul and funk combined in a different way. But is disco making somewhat of a comeback? Yeah, I need to read. I need to check out some websites or something. Yeah. Well, thanks, Kurt. I'll definitely put that on the list to listen to. Yeah. Manchester, England. I love stuff from there. This is one I put it tucked away for me to keep. The Soup Dragons, I'm free. So it's a UK pressing, and I think I mentioned that I like to identify some of my things. I'll be there in just a second. But it's a 12-inch single. We don't have a Vertigo label, but we have this really cool swirly thing. So when it turns around and around, it sounds great. it came in on that same group of that came in with the Killing Joke stuff. But it's I'm Free with Love Dog Dub. Yeah, so I haven't even watched it, folks, and it needs a bath. Needs a bath. I love this right here. Soul and funk with a hi-hat. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love hearing DJs talk about playing music in clubs and in dance settings during disco period and how they would mix music and what I just love that. I just love hearing people talk about that. You know, another band that I like, I didn't bring anything. I didn't bring anything but Ice House, and I played them last week up in Wake Forest. And Guy Pratt was in Ice House. He also played in the Pink Floyd, and he's been doing some videos during the quarantine, and just like Leland, he's been playing the songs and playing along with them. This is what I did. This is how I play. This was popular. This is the bass I use, and I use these effects. And I remember we're in the studio, and I remember so and so, and then someone came up with this, and it's just awesome to hear stuff like that. And so it was really neat. It was really neat. And so, Ice House, Guy Pratt, check it out if you can. Adam with 2 copies of The Dark Side of the Moon. If I have 10 copies, Carson, it's because they're variants of the same record. Heaven 17, The Luxury Gap. I love this record, folks. I probably have 3 or 4 copies, and I need to decide which one to keep. Yeah, The Luxury Gap. I love Heaven 17. And guys been talking about how some of that style of music was recorded and some of the accents they would use on certain, like they might play the ninth. He said he would play the ninth a lot on the chord. That was cool. Hey folks, this is the last one I'm going to show. As much as I love New Wave, as much as I love the Pink Floyd, and as much as I love 300 different other things, I love late 60s, early 70s soul and funk, and I also like psychedelic. And I loved it when other genres would bring in psych. They would bring in fuzz guitar. They would bring in that open drum that was just so reminiscent of psychedelic music. And this is a wonderful example. This is Dionne Warwick, Just Being Myself. Okay. So how many times have you been to the record shop and you just start digging and digging and digging, especially the dollar bins? You're like, oh man, Dionne Warwick. I wish I had $1 for every time I saw a Dionne Warwick record. Well, do a visual, folks. If you ever see this one, pick it up. It's her psychedelic record, and it's really, really cool. But it's on Warner Brothers. I'll show you the label. Yeah, it is awesome, folks. This one is probably a VG. It's not. Is it a placeholder? It's a good one to listen to, that's for sure. It's not clean. It's not quiet, but I have it. Yeah, absolutely. What kind of platter mats do I prefer? I'm a big cheerleader for the late 70s, early 80s Technics, and I'm totally happy with their rubber mats. However, I've seen them do crazy things. Like I've seen them where they become really hard, and I've seen where they just release oil, and so I have to chunk them. I think the novel felt ones are really cool. Third Man Records. I'm building an order for Third Man, and I'm ordering some more of the felt Third Man Records mats. You can buy an acrylic mat, which is cool. Tim talked about that when he was on Coffee and Vinyl, and so much that I think I might want to get it. Also, I've seen some cork mats that I like. A lot of companies like Projac and Crosley, they will ship it with a felt mat, which is great. And yeah, so I've never been so concerned or so picky. Now, I do have a Technics 1200, and I do have a felt on that, mainly because the motor's so strong, and I just don't want the record to get caught and kind of. So I have a felt mat, so it would make it freer, and it's funny because when I was at a radio station, that was my introduction to Technics, and we had 1500s, and they were the ones with there was more than one model of the 1500. It was the one that had the angle that showed the speed, plus minus, but also, so the ones that were really good for the radio stations, the ones that are good for the DJs in a live setting, are the ones that you can actually put it in a neutral position, and you can turn the platter backwards, and you can hold the vinyl on the edge with your thumb, and the platter will spin, but as you're holding it, the felt doesn't spin either, and then you can release it and go wow and start. But so with radio, we would find the beginning part of the track, and then we would just go back either a quarter turn or half turn, so that when we triggered it from the board, it would start, and by the time it got up to speed, it was ready to play. So yeah. So another thing to remember, Carson, your turntable, when it comes from the factory, it's set up. Yes, cue it up. It was set up so that it's a certain height, and if you add or take away from that, you're changing the height of how your stylus touches the height of your. So you have to keep that in mind. The cool thing about the Technics 1200, you can adjust and raise the height of the arm, and so it's all geometry, Carson. So that's something to consider when you do that. I'm a Crosley dealer. I know Scott. Scott's the owner of Crosley, and I've contributed information that helps Crosley to become the better. So there's a lot of cool things about Crosley. They have some incredible, cool looking record players called cruisers, and they're neat. They got these beautiful colors. They have one that's Star Wars, and they have ones that's Snoopy, and we've seen it all, and they're just really cool. It's a lifestyle look, and it looks really cool to have the Grateful Dead. I wish I had one of those. They're cool. They make great props, and they look cool. And RSD3, there's an RSD3 release tomorrow, which is a 3-inch. Yeah. But the C6, wonderful table. I really think without Scott saying so, there's a whole lot about the C6 that is project, and I have a project up in Wake Forest, and I prefer my C6 over the debut, and yeah, absolutely. But so there you go. Yes, Ron. Ron's worked radio, and cue it up to talk over the LP. Yeah. VTA. VTA. There you go, folks. Dionne Warwick is 79 years old. She turns 80 in December. How about that? Some of our music people, Ringo Starr's turning 80 next week. And Dionne Warwick is turning 80 in December. That's awesome. Not only turning 80, but Ringo Starr performing, which is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Mick Jagger running around stage. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, didn't go through much coffee today, though. Cheers to everyone. I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out with me, and helping me keep my morning focused. As always, I'd love to have you as my guest. I'd love to have you as my second banana, too. And so there we go. Until then, one other thing before I leave. Tonight, Carol, my cousin Carol, is going live on YouTube, and she is she's building her channel, and she's having an auction, and she asked me to join her. So here's a link for that for her. And so if you guys get a chance, come hang out with us as I got Grand Central Station going on here with the iPad and the iPhone and all these crazy alerts going on. And so anyway, yeah, so thank you, folks. I appreciate it. Kurt says, I'll be stopping by this afternoon for my singles. Sounds great to see you, Kurt. I got them all in a box, plus the other ones on the wall. And I'll try to have something cool to play while you're here. I'll try. Okay. Take care, everybody. See you soon. I'll be, what's today? Thursday. I'll be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hopefully with some live YouTube sales and auctions. All right. Take care. See you soon, everybody. Rock and roll. Be cool. Be safe.